Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the next session of AGL Profitability Hub 2020. Our next session is talking about building resiliency with direct bookings. It's a great pleasure today to have Robin Coenen, the CMO and shareholder of Club Villamar in Spain, with us on the conference. I will immediately ask Robin, please use some time to introduce yourself and tell us where you're at and what you're doing in these challenging times.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Simon, thank you very much for inviting us to the call. This a bit of history. It started about 20 years ago when a group of friends and me, we went on holiday to the Costa Brava. It's in Spain. It's a lovely area, beautiful beaches. You have the rugged coast, it's called. And we went there on holiday and we spent time on the beach. And we actually slept in a house, a villa, with a private pool that was one of the friends of ours. So we were spending our days at the beach and in the evening and doing all those kind of beach activities and go on water. And then in the evening, we went to the house and had a barbecue there. And we stood there, amazing sea view. You just get the picture, the sangria in your hand. And we said, okay, this is the life. More people should be doing this. So we thought about renting out the house of this friend of ours, and we started out with a Dutch company. And of course, like any entrepreneur, and we're a group of friends, entrepreneurs, we said, stop, we can do this better. But I have to remind you that it was about 16, 17 years ago. So it was early internet days. So you have to make your own website. Basically, you have to do everything yourself. So we started renting out his house through our own platform. And then all of a sudden we had friends that said, hey, you also want to rent out my house. You also want to rent out my house. And then we had friends of friends. And all of a sudden it grew into a company and really big. And in those first years, we did everything ourselves. So the building of the website, well, not the actual coding, but the marketing, signing the owners, getting the contracts, making sure that we have bookings. When people arrive, make sure the houses are okay, changing the gas bottles, everything. We did everything ourselves, which gave us a huge advantage because now, where we are now, we've learned so much from what we've done in the past years and from the early days that we understand about every part of our company. We understand what's happening there. So from there, fast forward 15 years to now, we have this company called Club Villamar, and we rent out and manage through our partners also more than 700 properties. And those properties are most of the time properties with private pool and with amazing sea view within a couple of kilometers of the beach. And our focal point is the Costa Brava, that's the north of Spain, Costa Maresme, that's somewhat more south, including Barcelona, the Costa Dorada. And there we have over 700 properties. We also work together with other people in other parts of Spain, and that is on XML basis. So they deliver us the houses and we deliver the bookings, and that's where we have a partnership. And this whole time we've been growing the company, and it's been going very well. As you know, from the vacation rental in Spain, it's going very well. It's a good market. Of course, I'm not doing this by myself. We have gathered through the years a huge team of a lot of enthusiastic and motivated people, and I'm just a cog in the Club Villamar wheel, and I have something to do with marketing because we built everything ourselves. From the ground up, we have very direct control, and we have kept very direct control over our own distribution channels. And that's something that's quite unique nowadays, I believe. Is that okay?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Robin. This is a great introduction, and you can feel the passion about your business and what you have achieved and what you have done. I had actually the pleasure myself to go on holidays with Club Villamar. And that a long time ago, before I even knew you and Edgar, the two founders, and hence this is the reason why you're actually here today. When we were looking for some consulting customers, and I said to my account manager Nicholas in Spain, hey, I want to work with Club Villamar. That's a great company. I had a great experience in one of your properties in Galpe, actually, and here you are. And then when we contacted you, it took like 24 hours for you to get back to us and say, yes, let's have a conversation. And we're now having a great working relationship, and we're happy that Club Villamar is also using the AGL services. So absolutely. So I think you made an interesting point and already sort of gave the secrets away in terms of your distribution mix, right? And because you have a very mature business, we always differentiate between leisure and urban. Obviously, urban has been hit super hard with this crisis. It's a less mature business. Urban has more competition, lower margins. The leisure business has more seasonality, is used to seasonality, is used to variable costs as well, and also in generally has also a more probably, as on an average, more direct bookings. But how is it in your particular case? How does your distribution mix look like currently? What do you get from OTAs in terms of revenue, and what do you get from direct bookings?
Yeah, from direct bookings, we have over 90% of our bookings and our turnover we generate ourselves. So it's our own marketing coming through our own channel and our own remarketing on that, and making them into repeat clients. And from the big OTAs, let's name them. It's Booking.com, Airbnb, and HomeAway in the space that we're in. Those generate less than 10%. Within the other 10%, there is even a lot of some smaller agencies in local agencies in countries that also do bookings with us. So in that whole mix, we're very much leaning towards the direct booking side.
Wow, that's super impressive. So does that mean you just don't like OTAs, or does that mean you're just doing a simply better job? Because the argument could be, hey, direct bookings are so much more expensive, and these OTAs create so much demand, and then you can convert them in rebookers and whatever. Or is it literally, are you making this cost comparison? Then is it is it better for you to have these direct bookings, or could you do more with OTAs?
Yes, we could do more with OTAs, and it's a cost thing. Yes, absolutely. So you say, do you hate the OTAs, or do you do a better job? Well, we do a better job. So what we're spending in OTAs, it's on average about 15% fee. If you look across the board of the bigger OTAs, and you put together the guest fee and the fee that they actually charge the PM or the owner, it's about 15%. So we can do it a lot cheaper than that. Yes, that's one thing. But there's another thing that's a lot more important.
So what could you share with us the cost of your conversion, roughly, on revenue in percentage?
It would be a half of that, and it kind of depends on what you see as a marketing or a sales cost, because we also work together with we have our own IT. Maybe you have to include that, then it goes up a bit. Maybe you have to include a call center that we work with, then it would go up a bit, but we're significantly cheaper than OTAs. So we can do it at a lower price. But there's something that's even more important to me, and that's, look, every company has a sales funnel. And if you look at the sales funnel, it kind of looks like this, understanding. Then at the top, you have your potential clients, your potential guests. And here at the bottom, you have people who actually become a guest of yours. Okay, two models. One is, the model is 100% direct booking. So you do everything ourselves. We do everything ourselves. That is almost the case with us. So with this funnel, we can choose from which channel, like not channel like OTAs, but other channels. Let's give me an example. Email marketing, Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, paid marketing, Google, remarketing, all those marketing tools that you have to actually get people into your funnel. And our funnel is our website. And on those websites, we can tweak a lot of things. We can say, okay, let's change the terms and conditions. Let's change the algorithm. Let's change just whatever you think will help you get the most attention for your houses, but also with your profitability, which is also a big thing that you're going to talk about. And in the end, then you have your actual guests. And those actual guests, you make sure that they come back, that they're very happy, and then you have the customer lifetime value. So, okay, with Club Villamar, we own this funnel. It's ours. Everything that happens in this funnel, the people we put in, and the guests we have in the end, we have direct control over. So it's a lot of easy tweaking that you can do to have the best optimum result, because this funnel, you want it to be wider, and you want it to be like this, you have a better conversion. Okay, so this is the first case. This is the 100% booking yourself. And then with the other case, which is, it's an extreme case, but let's do it like this, that you have one OTA and that gives you all your bookings. Okay, then the OTA has the funnel.
Well, there are such extreme cases, Robin. So,
yeah,
and too many of them too.
In my eyes, it's an extreme case. And maybe I'll follow up on that. But they own the funnel. They choose where they get the people. They choose the algorithm. They choose the terms and conditions. They choose the remarketing. They choose. Maybe they'll get the people to book again with your properties, but who knows? Hey, the search engine optimization. I'll give you an example. Because we have made mistakes in the past. Because we have this funnel, and I told you that there's all these things that are part of our funnel. Okay, we also were with HomeAway, and HomeAway used to have another product. It was pay-per listing, and then you just gave a lot of money, and you have the top rankings, and you get a lot of inquiries. And we're doing over 200 inquiries a day because we just put all our properties on there, and it was great. We were converting like crazy. Then they changed their product, and all of a sudden we got less than 20 inquiries a day, and not really bookings because they were in the beginning phase. It's just a company; they're just changing stuff. They were in the beginning phase of converting that. So all of a sudden we didn't have that. And that was really hurting our business. But we were very lucky that it was just a part of the people coming into our funnel. Okay, so again, if you only have one OTA, then the OTA has the funnel. So in the end, all you get is the clients, the guests, and you make them as happy as possible. But the influence that you have on your revenue is not so big. And we started out this business as being our own business, a rental business, and not a cleaning for Airbnb business. So with looking at our own business, we want to be as independent as possible, or at least have the possibilities to switch when some of the other partners does something that doesn't really suit us. And if you've been in the vacation rental space for some time, then you know, and also in this time, then you know that the OTAs are changing their products, rules, algorithms all the time. So there's not a lot. There's really not a lot you can do. So the influence that you have is not so big, and we want to have a lot of influence on the end result.
That's very impressive, and sounds like the ideal world in what you have built, and very complex as well. Thank you for being so detailed. But the next question would obviously be, how on earth do you structure this? I mean, you have 300 marketing people working for you. I mean, we talked about cost as well, cost of conversion. I think we understand that you're trying to keep your customers in this particular funnel, which makes a ton of sense. But how do you actually, what are your key resources and employees that are involved to actually make this happen?
Yeah, well, early on, and I think a lot of business owners with me, I made a big mistake. I thought I had to do everything on my own. So really, for marketing, for SEO, the search engine optimization, I was building the links myself. The Facebook marketing, I was doing it myself. It was crazy. Google AdWords, it's not called AdWords anymore, but if you've been in that module recently, everything changes every year. It's just incredible. And also with the SEO, the search engine optimization, well, man, we got slapped with the whole animal kingdom, the penguin, the panda, the hummingbird. So every time we had to learn everything ourselves again. But that really was a mistake, and I think that's part of the growth cycle that you're in. So we had to hire professionals, and there's companies that have know a lot more about it, and also have a lot more focus for that specific thing, because we're running a complete company, not only a marketing thing. So we're hiring a lot of people, but just agency based, and just. It reminds me of a funny thing I saw in New Zealand a couple of years ago, and this was about plumbing and construction company, something like that. And it says, if you think it's expensive to work with professionals, try hiring an amateur. So, and that one stuck with me. That's why we're also working with you. We were just work with professionals because you just want the best result, and that's what we do as well. The thing that helped is that we learned so much about marketing ourselves. So if we're looking at a company, we say, okay, if you're not measuring your return on ad spend, if you're not doing remarketing, if you're not all those detailed points, if you're not surprising me with what you know, then maybe you're not a good fit. And fortunately, through the years, and that's falling and getting up, you get a lot of good people around you who can actually take care of it.
You talked a lot about AdWords and Google as well, but it's still there's still others that you're competing with, and you know a lot of the thesis out there in the market has been, until now at least, if we like, we can look at different markets. If you look at the US property managers, they get about 80% of their demand through OTAs, right? In Europe, the larger and the more mature the businesses are, it's still around 50-60% direct, but it's coming down heavily. And the average in Europe is about 40-30% is direct. So you're double that. And the argument is, hey, we can't compete with the OTAs, but you obviously can, because you know, we always hear these massive numbers that Expedia and Booking.com spending 10 billion a year on Google ads, and you seem to be able to navigate very well with 90% direct bookings.
Yeah, it is going very well. I can tell you, it's of course it's not easy. Look, we're not investor backed. It's our own money. We don't have hundreds of millions to throw around on marketing, and not even, in some cases, not even make a profit in a year. So look, we don't have the luxury of doing that. But if you're smart and you use everything and look at your complete funnel, then there are still ways that you can make it work and that you can be independent. And I think the big part of the drive is that we're not only looking at costs, but also at our independency. And so if we just don't want to be, I said this before, we don't want to rely too heavily on other people's companies, because they are other people's companies. They do have an interest of their own.
Now, going further and keeping on sort of the OTA discussion, Robin, is that the OTAs have not made many friends with this crisis as well, when we talk about cancellations. And you know, can you tell us what the difference you're seeing between direct bookings and the ones who came from third parties in relation to cancellation, and how they're handled as well?
Yeah. There is a difference. At least there's already a difference in communication. Look, if you have your reservation with let's say Airbnb, you just have your app and you say, I want to cancel now, and you press on the button, and we get an email and said, okay, this client has canceled, and we refunded all the money. With our direct bookings, it tends to go another way. Look, there's a lot is happening at this moment, but we feel a responsibility to the guests, but also to our homeowners, and of course to the people who work with us. With our direct bookings, we tend to have a lot more communication, because these people actually wanted to go on a holiday, and we know that going on a holiday is good for them. They're just scared at the moment, which I can fully understand, because the whole world is in turmoil. So what we offer is that we say, okay, for that same house, so we keep the owner happy, maybe we can reschedule. And there's a lot more work into that, and it's a lot more optimized. And we say, okay, well, let's carry your booking to the end of the year, or even to next year. So that there is a difference in communication. But I have to say that because we only have 10% of OTAs, and it is pre-season bookings that we're talking about now, mainly in this period, and that's not a huge volume, that it's very hard to see what in the end the effect will be, the difference between only 10% of a not so big volume and the other 90% of also not a big volume. So yeah, it can go either way, but it feels, in the communication, feels different.
Yeah, absolutely. I see that very, very clearly as well. And interesting to that, talking a little bit about the future as well, is like a lot of what has been happening, especially related to cancellation, is now also triggering a huge direct booking discussion. Obviously, that's the reason why I want to put this session on, because you're already there, but a lot of people, they want to get there now because they realize, you know, the vulnerability of this business, number one, and number two, realizing that oxygen equals cash and oxygen equals life. And I think that's something become clearer and clearer and clearer. So a lot of our customers and a lot of guys who are in the audience today, they're thinking about, hey, how do I get there? in terms of direct booking. So if you could advise a property manager that he's looking to invest more into a direct channel, what would it be? What would you advise them?
Yeah, but I know that there's people who do perfectly well with OTAs at this moment and in the last years. And let's be honest, the last years for vacation rental has been amazing, and people have been helping a lot with OTAs as well. But I'd like to say, just look at yourself in the mirror and think of why you started this company in the first place. Because if it's because I want to do the key handling and cleaning for Airbnb or for an OTA, okay, perfect. You can be perfectly happy with that. If it's I want to build my own business and have control over that business and be independent, oh well, maybe maybe the easy way it only leads to regret. Maybe the easy way is not the way to go. Maybe you have to build your own channel and put effort into it. And is it the easy way? No, it's not. But the payoff will be the biggest in the end, and certainly in matter of control. So I would say, yeah, do it. Just have something.
You just mentioned the word control, and during these massive challenges, you also need a certain control over your direct bookings. Now, how is the control of your own booking helping you to navigate right now through COVID-19?
Yeah, very good. The first example that I gave you is of the cancellations that we're having because we actually have to cancel because people cannot arrive. This crazy situation, nobody thought it would ever happen. So that example I already gave, but also the communication that we have for the guests who are arriving in let's say July or August is it. You say, okay, you make the second payment, you make it later, don't make it now, just when you feel somewhat more secure. So you have a lot. Look, when there was the COVID, when it was kicking up, we said, okay, maybe we have to make a new product, an insurance that we can sell, that people actually get the money back once they have to cancel because of COVID. Somebody gets sick or there's travel restrictions. That was implemented within 24 hours. We thought of and made. So it's just the control that you have in this time is just a lot better. And is it the right solution? No, but at least you have to, or maybe not, but at least you have the feeling, okay, I can actually do something about this situation. And that gives me a lot of peace of mind.
Absolutely. And I have to say, personally, I was super impressed by speed of execution, since I'm on your newsletter address list as well as a former customer. And I received that document. I immediately wrote to Nicholas and say, these guys are not mucking around. They already got the insurance out. And this was a lot of respect for that. I mean, this really shows that how control, whatever you have left, as you pointed out, in terms of control, you are utilizing to the max. So key asset, 90 direct bookings, very amazing organized marketing department, all your channels, keeping control over it. How does that translate into repeat customers? I mean, this is always a big argument. It's part of the customer lifetime value, because the repeat rates in vacation rental traditionally have come down quite substantially. I mean, in some winter destinations, you had like 50-60% repeat rates every year, same place, booking over and over. Now people want choice and go to different places. How does that translate to Club Villamar?
Yeah, it's absolutely a factor, which is, again, it's a bit hard to measure because we're talking about a percentage of repeat bookers on a small percentage of that we have actually of OTAs. So maybe somebody who has another mix would be better to give an answer to that. But it would be very logical. Look, if we get an Airbnb booking, we have to, or HomeAway, I think as well, we actually have to ask the client for their own email address so we can have direct communication with them. Look, the channels for repeat booking, the OTAs also have them in place. They also have a plan for that. They also say, okay, I'm going to send you emails about this, about the properties on the Costa Brava, and it's not necessarily my property. So it's only logical that they would easily book with Airbnb again, and not so much with our own company, even though we did the majority of the work. It's not to bash on the OTAs or not at all. But if you look at the value, just imagine yourself that you are spending time with your kids in the pool of a house. Then how big of the pleasure that you have there was the website where you booked. Look, these guys they're not cutting the grass. They're not coming to clean your pool. They're not making sure that you have a nice warm welcome. They're not there for you 24 hours a day when you're at the house. All these things there, but hey, let's talk about the homeowner. They don't have the mortgage that they have to pay. It's just a service that they provide. So coming back to that, the repeat bookers, it's hard to measure, but I'm pretty sure that we do better on ourselves than the guests that we have from OTA. Let's be honest. They also they are the Airbnb client. For them, we are just a key handler. And
yeah,
so they feel themselves the Airbnb client, which makes it a lot convincing for Airbnb to convince them to book again.
Yeah. So talking about booking again, I mean, talking about the little elements or the gold nuggets that are important for marketing. We talked about repeat rates. We talked about overall your marketing efforts. Another one, a gold nugget, I guess, is reviews, right? I mean, everybody talks about how important reviews are. First of all, you need to deliver a good experience before you actually can get good reviews. So we are assuming you're doing everything possible for yourself and your product, together with your partners, that the product is absolutely up to standards. You're focusing on pools, villas with pool, so you have clear product standards. But the reviews are very important. What do you do with reviews, and how do you manage them, and what is your feedback rate for the direct bookings on reviews?
Yeah, that's also an important point that you're addressing. Everybody who has been a client with us gets an invitation to make a review, and they're going to review the website, the communication with us, the actual arrival, the cleaning, the house itself, a whole bunch of things. And we have a quite high repeat or send-in rate of that. That's over 32%. That we actually get a lot of feedback. That feedback always is read immediately. Of course, if something's wrong while people are at the house, we have a whole other feedback loop for that. That's outside that. You don't have to wait until you're actually at home. Then we get the reviews, and we always look at what's actionable, and we directly put an action on it. Because if this is a person who said, okay, just about anything, the beds were not too good, this is something that we can change for the coming clients, and we can change it on very short notice. So that's our own quality loop. It's just that if there's reviews on other platforms, I also read them, but it's not, the communication is not so direct. It's just, it takes a lot more time, and they really feel like a client of another platform. And if you have the reviews there, and let's say it's only stars, let's say that you put a lot of energy into becoming a super host on Airbnb, which is great for your rankings, and you're a super host. But if Airbnb all of a sudden is not flavor of the month anymore, but because of any decision, then you have a lot of good reviews here, but now you have to concentrate on booking.com, where you have 0 reviews, and you will not really score in the algorithm. So it's just who are you helping at the moment, and see where you get your reviews. Maybe it's best on your own channel.
Yeah, absolutely. So talking about the direct channel, what other, like you just said, make them on your direct channel. And besides sales, what other advantage does it have to have its own direct channel as well?
Yeah, the control. I have to come back to the control, and that's very wide. But it's just that you're in control of your own company, and the actual independence that you have. So that's
how important is the owner in this? Is this an argument that an owner says, hey, this is cool, my agency that I'm working with, Club Villamar, is generating 90% direct bookings, so it has a bigger peace of mind. They know their customers, they know the type of their customers. They don't get some, stag parties into their houses or some crazy stuff that comes through other channels. Would that be a good argument as well?
Yeah, that's absolutely a good argument. What's very important for an owner is that he gets paid. The second thing is that you don't ruin his house. We have through our partners we have a very good relation with our homeowners, which means that, and also because we've been doing this ourselves, we also know some of the homeowners still, and we know the kids and everything in the history in the house, and we even signed the first contracts. So we feel that responsibility to our owners, and the owners feel that responsibility back. And through our partners, we actually have feet on the ground when things don't go so well, that they can actually call somebody who comes by. And of course, with an OTA, the OTA is not providing that. That's also a service that we still provide.
No, that's definitely clear. The OTA will not go by. They will stay either in San Francisco or in Amsterdam. That's for sure. So looking at the time, I quickly want to touch the topic of technology. I mean, this sounds super complex, what you're doing with all these different multi-channels you're working with on a direct newsletters, emails, et cetera, et cetera. What kind of technology do you use to handle all that? Or how should we understand how your tech stack is looking like?
Yeah. Well, we from the beginning it was really easy because in 2003 there was no Joomla, there was no WordPress, Avantio, Kigo, just name them. Every custom, or no, not custom, every platform that's just easy to use. It wasn't there, so we had to build ourselves. So we build it, and it's bigger, bigger, bigger. And I can bore you with a lot of technical details. That it has something to do with music. It was built in Symfony, or I don't know what. I'm glad the IT guys know all of that and make sure that everything runs perfectly. But the most important thing for us as a company is that everything is implemented very quickly once we think of it, and that we connect with most of the OTAs that we connect with. We have our own API, our own connection, and sure, it's a pain because you have to update it all the time. It was something I didn't think of to begin with, that it actually needs some maintenance. But just also the partners with which we work on the Costa Blanca, the southern part of Spain, we just get their feed connected to our platform, and all of a sudden with houses online, which are bookable. So we build everything ourselves, which again makes us independent. It's a huge thing that you're building, but there's a value in that.
Summarizing that, you want to control it. So, you guys control the technology, and you want to have control over your guests.
Man, I sound like, all of a sudden I sound like a control freak. I'm not that bad. It's just independence is a thing for me. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I get that. And I would never allow to say that in the negative sense. I mean, you have a military background, so,
maybe that's it. Yeah.
So let's wrap this up quickly. And this has been great, having a great conversation, extreme know-how. Please also, to the audience, don't forget to ask questions, which we will summarize and come back on a separate session so we can address some of your questions that you might have. We've talked a lot about Google, but we haven't talked about Google insofar that they want to go closer to the consumer as well, right? We've seen that in the hotel ads. There has been products from Google to sort of disrupt distribution landscape and go closer to the consumer and sort of cutting out the OTAs. Is that something you guys are worried about? Is that a threat to Club Villamar going forward?
No, to be honest, not really. Look, we're spending a lot of money on Google anyway, so we'll just see how it goes. And the main opportunity that I see is if they have something like a compare tool at which you can say, okay, this is an object at which you can find it in OTA. It's this price. You can find it direct channel. It's this price. You can find it here. It's this price. It's this price. And maybe they'll have a commission model around it. I don't know where it's going. But if that happens, again, it's good to have your own marketing channel. That's your own channel that's actually in there. Otherwise, you're only very much dependent on if Airbnb is in that mix, or will be able to pay for that mix, or will be willing to pay for that mix. So now we'll just see where it goes. But we're not scared easily. We are a very strong company.
Wow, lots of positive energy. I think we all need it out there in the industry right now. And with that, I really would like to wrap this up. In the preparation of our conversation today, you put forward a really nice quote from Robin Coenen, the CMO of Club Villamar, and you said, "He who has the beds has the power." And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank Robin for being with us today and giving us some great insights from Club Villamar. If you have any questions, comment online to the chat function and we'll get back to you. Robin, thank you so much. Stay well, stay healthy.
Thanks for having me, Simon. It was a pleasure. Thank you. I'll speak to you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.